Hey, what's good, people? This is the Option Podcast. This is episode 207. Maybe. That dude looks like the great, incomparable Jeffrey Kennedy Samuels. Here we go again. The episode starts.
Yeah, here we go with that.
The episode starts right now. What's up, Jeff?
What's going on?
Let's fix this really quick and then boom. Yeah, hey, what's up, people? Along with my man Jeff Samuels, I'm Jason Tobias. This is episode 207. This is the Option Podcast. Not plugging any sponsors in yet, but it's going to be a great summer. It's going to be a great summer with the Option Podcast and sponsors. You know, now that I understand what my mission statement here is, and now I understand what creative control, you know, and all that stuff. And the only reason why I brought up sponsors is because you seem to do a really good job with that. I guess I'm just gonna jump right in. You had Isopure for a little while. I don't know if they're still with you. Who's one of your sponsors now?
I'm reworking a lot of deals right now,
Mm.
but I'm still with Sharp Vision, is my main guys right now, and kind of working out some other stuff in the background at the moment. But yeah, they're pretty much the guys I'm going with this year. Sharp Vision is a nationwide LASIK company, so it's Sharp Vision Modern LASIK. They're in Austin, I believe, Chicago, and Seattle, a couple other places.
Yeah.
But every year when we go out to that Austin AVP, what we used to, I met some people out there that I just have a lifelong bond with. So, shout out to Sharp Vision.
Yeah, man, big up, yo. So let's talk a little bit about Huntington Beach. Like some of these things are uncomfortable conversations and questions, but I have as far as like someone being comfortable in their own skin, I have the right candidate for the job. You played with Carvalhaes at the in the qualifier, right?
Yeah, I played with Marcus. Yep.
Yeah, and you had to my memory, well, I was there and Arturo was there. We're basically watching from one court away because you know we're always invested, you know, in our people, right? That's his people and you my people. Always will be, brother. What it was 21-19 set 3. All right. Kind of a heartbreaker. Now, the only reason why I'm bringing this up is because when I checked up on you, because I was just trying to stay away from you and let you do your thing, uh, um, it was 18-10 switch, you know, and I thought that was the first set, so I'm like, all right, cool, you know, sweet, he's got this, you know, this team is exactly what I thought they were, and then you lose the next one 21-19, and I'm like, all right, there's a third set coming, and everybody's like, no, dude, that was a third set, and I'm just like, oh God, oh man. Tell me, if you since you got a week to let it simmer, tell me what happened on the loss. What changed momentum? Was it just the pace of the game slowed down to this lethargic pace, and you're kind of looking the wrong way when some of these points get away? Like I said, uncomfortable conversation, but I think it's something a lot of players, you know, who go through these progressions and don't know what to do. You can answer some of these questions. This is the reason why I'm shaping this question this way. Okay. Hmm.
Yeah. So I just remember first set was we were up by one or two. I think we were up by two and kind of lost control at the end there and ended up losing like 21-18 or something. So pretty big point swing in the first set. And then the second set, we just absolutely crushed them. I might have had 7 or 8 blocks in that set. And then in the third set was kind of back and forth, up and down. I remember starting out being down by a little bit, I think. I'm honestly the worst person to ever ask about what happened in matches. I kind of black out and just like
Okay. Yeah.
go into another dimension or something. But I just think that ultimately for Marcus and I, not getting those reps together, not getting enough practice in together as a team, this being our first tournament, um, really didn't help us very much.
Mm.
And with that said, I saw a lot of good things that kind of transpired during the day of the qualifier, even though it wasn't that much volleyball. I think we lost in the second round. So yeah, I mean, ultimately it just came down to us being a little bit more familiar with each other as the team we were playing against kind of had less questions between the two of them
Right.
as
Yeah, because
what the
they
game plan is or what my blocker is going to do in this situation or certain scenario. So that goes a long way. It's kind of dog eat dog these days in the qualifier or even in the main draw. Guys just pretty much they're playing with the best guy they can get at the time or the best position that partner can get them in as far as we'll be the 2 seed in the quali or the last team into the main draw if I play with Marcus or if I play with you know anyone hypothetically. Just
mm,
everyone's kind of getting in where they fit in. So sometimes you got to play with a guy you didn't really get too much practice with. So that was one of those cases.
yeah. I well, first of all, I like the team. I like the team of you and Marcos because chemistry wise, you're both professionals. As far as mentality wise, you guys have a path to like even though you lost in the second round, there's always like this path of getting to this place. There's a path to the championship. You're like, let's get here first. Let's get here first. And then when game day comes, we just worry about the team in front of us, right? First round, who did you guys play? I don't know if you remember. Uh, um, I mean, with 32 teams,
First round.
with 32
Yeah.
teams in the qualifier, they were all bosses, right? The 29th seed made it in the draw. So, and I told one of my friends, and I didn't mean to interrupt, but I told one of my friends, if we did a redo like tomorrow with the same 29 teams, you're probably gonna have like 3 of those 4 teams be different. The only one I think is the same results probably Dietrich and Leela. I think Dietrich and Leela probably, I mean, stylistically, like if there was the same draw, I think they make it in again. But I do see you beating them. I did see you beating them. I did see you beating Devin Burke and whatever if that went to the third round. And the only reason why I brought it up is because there are so many teams that have been in your situation where you're like, there's 4 things that have to happen for us to lose this game, right? They play out of their mind. We have an off day, and your off day was not an off day. Your off day was just not enough reps. Um, you lose an interesting first set, and then you get upset. You lose the first set, and then you blow them out the second set, right? And then the third set is like this, not necessarily the better team, but like the better team that game, right? And right, Prima, and let Prima and Delamaric, they're not scrubs or nothing, and they did have the reps. And they did
Mhm.
just win Memorial Day. They just won the CBVA in relatively easy fashion against what I thought was I really thought was different competition, but I mean, they just breezed through it. So congratulations to them. But is Carvalhaes someone you're interested in playing with in the future? Because I really like that team.
I'm not sure. We're talking about it. He's a great player.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously comes from extensive beach volleyball background, living in Brazil with I believe his dad and his brother both being prominent in beach volleyball. So he's a great player. I know he's out coaching a lot and working a lot, working on his skills. So I mean, look forward to see what he's gonna be doing. I'm not 100% sure who I'm playing with for the next one. But yeah, uh,
Yeah, man.
guess we got some time to figure that one out.
Yeah, you got
Ali, you'll be the first to know.
good. Well, maybe I'll be the first to know because I'll be the first one to call him. I'll call him now. I think again. I don't know if both of you guys realize this. That's a good team, dude.
Yeah.
I mean, on any given day, we have one of the better blockers, right? We have one of the better defenders, transition, uh, um, and I don't mean any disrespect to all of the partners that you play with, because you've always played with good partners. I just want you to play with someone who's one who has a more professional approach to it, not a more professional approach. Not saying the other guys are not, and two, um, there like he's in this tournament with his in his heart of hearts that believes he can win the whole thing if the right path, right? And this is what I wanted you to have for your career. You and your career, Jeff. Again, I sound like I'm crapping on all the other players, but I have to. It's the only way I know how to put this. I have
Hmm.
not seen you have a partner that's as good as you or better than you. The only time I've seen that was you played with Ricardo, right, in Florida, And what happened? And tell me what happened in that tournament.
Picked up the dub, man.
I don't think you just. I think picked up the dub is
I played
very
with some guys
humble of
where
you. Picked up the dub is humble of you. I saw the scores. It was ridiculous. It was
yeah.
ridiculous.
I've played with some good partners though too. I
Yeah.
mean, ultimately at the end of the day, you know, when you're training and practicing and I mean, I guess even networking goes into the game a little bit if you're playing beach volleyball, right? You know,
Right.
we're picking our own partners and getting to know other players and practices and what have you. But it all goes to what you put in is what you're going to get out. So
Yes.
ultimately, if I just continue to, you know, expand my game and my knowledge and you know my skills, you know, my partner's going to reflect what the work that I've been doing. So I mean,
Yeah.
if Marcus is a really good player like we both know he is, I think, you know, that means hey, Jeff's been putting in some work. I mean, all last year I put in a lot of good hours, a lot of good time in the sand. So this year, this off season has been the same, you know. So
Yeah.
um I feel like I'm in a good position to make some good moves, some strides. I mean, not that we already haven't been doing that sort of thing over history, but like making some significant jumps in the right direction. I think now's a goodest time of any is especially with the work that we've been putting in. So, I mean, as much as I want to say, I mean, I've had some crappy partners too, don't get me wrong. And then some partners that maybe I just didn't mesh with.
Yeah.
And, you know,
It's
some
it's
guys
it's
that
a,
weren't,
it's a long
you know,
career, Jeff. Right? You're
yeah,
gonna have those. It's a long career,
yeah,
dude.
yeah, it is. It is. It is. So, I mean, um, but right now, you know, I feel like I'm in a pretty good spot. So, you know, I'm not necessarily shopping around, but we're not exactly sure where, for a next event, what we're going to be doing. So,
You know, how much of that staying sharp is mental? Like for you, I've known you for a long time. We've coached together. I've also had the honor, duty, and privilege of being under the umbrella and chilling with you doing some pull charts, always listed as your coach, always in your corner. And
yeah,
there are some tournaments where physically you're there, right? But there was something mentally exhausting about just the process and preparation and
yeah,
getting there. And there's something really, really different about you the last 2 years. Like I was at Huntington with you last year, and you were with your best bud Rafi at the time, and you guys made the draw, right? You played out of your tails, beat Sam Schachter and Travis Miller to get in, and there seemed where there are some tournaments where it seems like you're just worried about this and worried about this, and then the mental somehow messes
yeah,
with the physical. Do you see what I'm getting at? Interrupt me anytime
yeah,
because
$100%.
this is a conversation, and I gotta let you talk. But
I mean, there's so many things in a volleyball tournament.
you look mentally awesome right now, like
Thank
up
you.
from the neck up. Sorry, talk to me
Yeah.
about that.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many things, especially in a beach volleyball tournament, that have to go right in order for you to do well.
Hmm.
So, I mean, even in your outside life, if you're able to, you know, mitigate the distractions and things that you have to worry about, and you know, all the different elements that are involved with it, it really will help you go into the game with a freer mind. You know, if you put in the work, you've been in the gym, you've been doing the mental exercises, you've been doing conditioning, you've been doing all these things, then when you get there, you know, you just feel so much better about yourself and what you're working towards. Um, and then just on top of that, like your overall emotional stability, your overall emotional awareness, like being in touch and in tune with those things, you know, believe it or not, really does help. I mean, I've seen a lot of guys who train and have all the ability and have all this stuff, but like emotionally, they really can't, you know, they really can't handle it. And, you know, I've gone through my own emotional battles on the on the beach. So, I mean, to be in a space right now where I feel pretty good, is awesome because volleyball is a sport that can just tear you down. Because obviously, like, you know, we're not millionaires, we're not making a bunch of money, so Being able,
you're not a millionaire?
no, I'm not a millionaire yet, Jay. I know. No. But
He's
even
looking
if I
around like,
become a
is this a
millionaire, when I
mansion?
when I come to California, I'm still staying with you every time.
Yeah,
So don't
yeah,
expect anything to change.
feel like a millionaire. That's right.
Yeah. But just even with that, like if you don't have all that other stuff kind of going right, then it's definitely going to be, worrisome to you. It's going to be like wear and tear on your emotional and mental stability. So just like having those things in order really does help you as an athlete, right? And then just like honestly, one of the biggest things I've been able to do to change my game and just overall life really is just like focusing on volleyball. I mean, when I go there, there's so many different things that like can happen that can take you out of your current state and like just focusing on just the volleyball aspect of it and not really thinking about the things that I can't control. I can't control what people say to me. I can't control what the weather's going to be or if they change the format or if they switch the point system up at the last minute.
Nah, catch Jeff
I'm
on
just
some
saying
not ready stuff.
hypothetically, if they were to do something like that, and although it affects you, um, you can't let it control you. You
Yeah,
you can only focus on what you can do, and I can't really change any of that. So um, being able to maintain my focus a little bit more in those kind of situations has helped me out a lot, not only in volleyball but in life. So. Um, and with that, I will say that volleyball is doing volleyball things right now. It's volleyballing. Like it's
yeah,
always been this way since I've started, where things are always subject to change all the time. And you just gotta kind of roll with the punches. So if you're a person who can't really like deal with like a delayed flight, or you can't really deal with, the weather changing and being 20-mile-an-hour gusts in Gulf Shores or wherever you are, like you
yeah,
might not be cut out for volleyball. If you want to have something that's always going to be the same and you know what's going to happen and you can't really deal with the variables, then play something else.
yeah.
So,
Well, first of all, that was a fantastic answer about the mental, right? Like, as you know, I was with Los Angeles Volleyball Club, and we have a strength and conditioning coach. His name is Lou Jones. They call him Big Lou, right? He played
Big
for Matt.
Lou, I don't
Yeah,
know him, but I'm imagining people are
yeah.
like, Big
Yo,
Lou.
and he's like jacked, right? He's like 6 feet high, 5 feet wide, right? So,
Yeah.
and he played, football. He played for a national championship at University of Washington.
Oh, sick.
And you see some of the girls go to the tournaments, and they're in the finals and the semis, and he hears that they were exhausted, and he's like, no way. There's no way, and
Yeah.
we let me tell you something about LAVBC as far as the training, from the program director, who's the biggest volleyball nerd, Jason Olive, who just loves the game. Kamalu, young beautiful mind. You had me. I'm actually taking a sabbatical from club for a year. He couldn't comprehend in his mind, like, don't tell me those girls were tired. I don't want to hear that they're tired. I don't want to hear that they're tired. And Jo and I were like, there was something else that went into play, because Jo and I have these conversations, and I said, look, it's not, if they don't take care of their mental, right? Right? If it's stressful, like if they make the situation too big, after one set or the second set, even the ones they win, they're exhausted because they used everything they had to win, and now the mental is going to mess with the physical, and now you look like you're not physically prepared when you really were, but you didn't take care of the muscles up between your ears. So that's why I liked your answer. And then Jason had kind of this thing about, guys, please make sure you win the night, right? Get rest. We're gonna do some meditation. We got this. So he really did the best he could to check all the boxes to make sure they get to the end. But that, I think, um, my other brother from another mother, I think that's one of the challenges he's going to have as a head coach, as a program director and a head coach. But that's why I liked your answer, and there's a lot of juniors that watch this, and we're going to get into you coaching juniors in a minute. So
Mhm.
fantastic answer, fantastic answer. What about? But before we go to juniors, I want to talk about your general nutrition. Are you? You know me. I play around with everything. One month I'm a carnivore. One month I'm keto. I can't make up my mind, right? So,
Yeah.
so Talk about some of the things you like to throw in your body in the preseason, and if there's any changes in the regular season, or if that stays the same.
Um, there's kind of like two phases for my off season. The beginning of my off season, I eat like almost as little as possible. Like I'll eat one meal a day. Just because I'm a firm believer in like gut health, and I've had some digestive issues and that sort of stuff. So it's like really important to me that I give my digestive system a break in the off season so that I'm not putting that constant like just feeding all the time stress on your gut, right? So and then it also gives your body time to heal in other places because your body's not like using all this blood to digest food all the time. So that's like the first phase of like my off season as far as like my eating habits. Um, and then when I start bulking up a little bit more, getting ready to like carry all this weight for an entire season, because like if I don't, then I'll wither away during the season. It's hot, it's strenuous, you're in the sand. Like I'll be super skinny by the end of the season if I don't bulk up, right? So then I start eating, quite a bit more. Maybe like 3 meals a day, a ton of calories a day. And then during the season, I try to find like some like happy medium, like
Right,
where I'm not always putting that stress on my digestive system, but I'm also eating enough to like maintain the amount, like my workload.
right.
Uh,
Get some of that Wagu in your life.
oh man, I do all the time, dude. But
You
like my
got me. You got
overall
me hooked
diet,
on that, man.
I
You
love it.
did.
Yeah. My overall diet is, I mean, I do the carnivore MD diet, so I pretty much, for
Mm,
the most part, as much as I can,
mhm.
um, meat, dairy, fruit. And the only carbs that I eat are sweet potato or white rice.
Right.
Now, granted, like if I go with you and we go to a restaurant, I
Yeah.
try to eat within those boundaries.
It's a night
And
out. It's a night out, right? We're not gonna
yeah,
blame. We're not gonna blame the meat for the sins of the bun.
right. Yeah, but if there's no other options, I mean, I'm on the road. You got to eat what you can, and eating something is a lot more important a lot of the times than just not eating anything. I just try to stay away from like the crappy carbs, and then like I don't do the seed oils and stuff very much. So like I
Me
like
neither.
anything that's cooked in like butter or I'd use like
Olive oil is my worst. Yeah.
I know it's so bad for you. It's horrible. It's horrible for your digestive system. Granted, there's a lot of stuff that's horrible for your digestive
Yeah.
system. Drinking is bad for you.
And mind you,
Smoking.
olive oil is supposed to be the best of the three of the
Well,
the
olive
best of
oil is
them.
good to be,
Yeah.
I believe, ingested without cooked at like a high
Right.
temp. So like
Yeah.
if you cook it at a seed oil at a high temp, then it's like not good for your stomach.
Right. You called it.
But like olive oil, I believe if like it has its benefits just as, as the non-cooked oil. But then if you're going to cook something, it needs to be in a under a like
Mm,
it needs to be able to be cooked at high temperatures, and seed oils aren't, but like fats are. So like butter or like tallow, beef tallow, ghee, or one of these things that are like something that you could kind of cook with. But like the olive oil, avocado oil, any of those seed oils are probably not good to
right.
cook at a high temp.
When did that change for you? Was it 2019
Right
where you kind of
there.
started doing that? And it's
Yeah,
only because I know you. I know you for
yeah.
I've known you since 2017, and I remember 2019 where your body didn't feel right, your mind didn't
Well,
feel
no,
right.
2019, I thought I was vegan. I thought I was going to be a
Oh
vegan.
well,
It was the
there
whole
you go.
thing.
There you go.
And you and Duran used to tease me because
I'm like, dude, we got some vegan steak right here for you.
yeah, right. I thought I was going to be eating, Beyond Burger and all this
Yeah.
stuff, and I'm trying to get healthy, and that was
Talk
just
about picking
that was a
worse
horrible
things.
idea.
Think
That was a horrible
right,
idea.
but we all realize that now, right? Because in 2019, that was a trend.
It was a
Impossible
trend.
burger, impossible this, impossible that, and now you know what's
Yeah.
in that stuff. You're just and what that does to your body is just like, oh wow.
Yeah. And then like I started kind of learning that like, okay, all the nutrients that we think that we're getting from plants and vegetables. I don't eat plants and vegetables.
Right.
But I don't know if I didn't make that clear in my carnivore MD, but like I don't eat any plants or vegetables at all. Like I just don't eat them. I think at least for me, they're allowed to be different, although
No,
I
but
don't
you
believe.
when you mentioned gut health and all that stuff, I knew.
Yeah.
I knew. Sorry, I wanted you to
Yeah.
continue, please.
Yeah, just because yeah, gut health. I think that plants and vegetables are bad for your gut. They're hard to digest. They release toxins that bloat your stomach and they're harmful to your stomach.
Hmm.
Um, and then you cook them in these seed oils and think that everything's going to be okay, but realistically it's pretty bad for your stomach. I mean, and you
Right.
don't get the nutrients that you think you get just because the soil isn't as rich as it used to be.
Yeah.
And the way like we till the soil and all the nutrients slides through the grooves in the soil because we till it. So like the soil doesn't have the nutrients that it used to. So obviously the plants and vegetables aren't going to have the nutrients that you need.
Right.
Um, but guess who's eating grass all the time that's not tilled if you're getting grass-fed meat? The cows, right? So then it's what's called biomagnification, magnified in their meat, basically, and then you eat it. And that's the best way for your body to absorb nutrients, in my opinion.
I
I'm not a
think.
doctor, but from the research that I've done,
Right.
that kind of seems like the best way. And I haven't noticed any sort of deficiency or anything like that I've only noticed gain from it. I mean, honestly, like the iron and copper are two of the most important nutrients that you can get in your body, and you can't get that from any plant.
I
You can
mean,
only.
the only real source is cold spinach, and when you heat it up, it loses its nutritional values. And if you're
Thank
not
you.
going to do the vegetable anyway, it's Wagyu life for me. Look, before I start teasing vegans or whatever, I want to talk about you. It is 2024. I met you in 2017. 2019, you looked like you were 30. All right, you look close to your age. You're a little older than 30, but you always did good. You look younger now than you did
Good. Thanks, man.
when you shut down your season in 2019. That you had you to your credit, there was a physical and there was a mental, and you needed to work on yourself. So right after, I think it was right after New York City or Seattle, you're like, all right, I'm shutting this down for the rest of the season, and look what you become, Jeff. You look ridiculous right now.
Thanks, man.
This is
I actually
that
had a
was
compressed
that
air in
was
my neck
5 years ago, dude.
before me.
That was,
Yeah.
and now you look younger now. And I was speaking to Torrin Jeffries about that too. I don't know if you remember Torrin.
I know. Yeah, I remember
Torrin
one.
looks
Yeah.
healthier and happier right now, and he only eats once a day, and he chooses his stuff wisely. But I wanted to say something about veganism that's not going to be popular amongst my vegan friends, but I also want to defend it, right? But Dr. Bart K, who's the leader of the Meat Militia, who has 4 advanced medical degrees and all this stuff and knows his nutrition, says that 86% of people that go vegan within 2 years quit the ideology, and 90% say it's due to catastrophic health results. They're not
Yeah,
they're
it's
not
bad.
getting this, they're not getting that. So, and the reason why the studies, and this is the reason why doctors or experts get this wrong, right? Consider this, Jeff, right? Eggs were in the 80s, eggs were bad for you. And all of a sudden in the 90s, oh, egg whites are good for you, but not the eggs. And now they're like, just eat the eggs, right? So
Just
they
eat it.
do
Yeah,
they
just get a
they
cage-free egg.
Dude, they said the best diet for the Brat Pack was carbs, nothing but carbs in the 80s. Just eat nothing but carbohydrates, right? So I don't really want to hear anyone talk about being a doctor in this. We have this old school thing called doing your own research. Doing your own research is called reading, guys. Reading is fundamental. And Jeff, lastly, the reason why they don't pick it up in the studies is because when the vegans they select for the studies are the ones that have healthy lifestyles. They're sun worshipers. They're doing yoga. You know what I'm saying? So they're doing a lot of things with their vegan diet that makes it look. And when they choose the carnivore, right? Which carnivore do they choose? They choose the guy who's eating greasy French fries with the burger, with that has
Yeah.
the bun and all that
McDonald's.
stuff. So
Yeah.
so so of course, if you want to look at a good study, get a sample size of carnivores who have the same lifestyle as the ones that are vegan. Because the reason why people even go vegan is because they're thinking about their future. Most people go vegan because it's an ideology. Like when they're wrong on the science, they have to lean to this. Oh, animals are living things and this and that. When they don't realize plants are living things too, right? We're killing all the animals when they don't realize that more plants die to feed vegans than animals die to feed carnivores. That's just statistical fact. Look it up, people. And that's all I wanted to say. I want people to do their own research. Look what Jeff's done. Look at Jeff right now in this picture. The man looks terrific. I mean, just tell everybody how old you are, because when you look like you're not sensitive about your age. How old are you?
Nah, I'm 38.
You're
Well,
38.
I'll be 38 on Saturday.
Tell me this dude, for the people watching the video version of this dude. Tell me you see 38 when you see this dude. No way, dude. No freaking way, my man.
Yeah, and that's
Like,
another thing. People are
I'm
going to be like,
54.
"Oh, he has really good genetics,"
Yeah.
and then I'm going to argue with you on that too. But it's okay. Well,
You
that's
have
another.
no, but you
another
have
one.
good genetics until 38.
Well, yeah,
And then all of a sudden, mhm.
I'm a firm believer in epigenetics, where your environment plays a higher
Yeah.
percentage in what you're going to look like.
Hmm.
Trust me. I mean, I got family members. I got where they're coming from the same genetics as I am. Why, like it has to do with your environment
Thank you.
and what your body is normally doing. Like if you, okay, such and such runs in my family. Well, okay, do you eat the same foods up until you're an adult as your mother and father did? Do you watch the same TV shows? Do you get not very much exercise like they did? Do you guys drink and eat the same sort of things? These are going to be, do you get upset about the same things? Do you have the same emotional issues? Okay, well, these are going to lead to the same kinds of disease or unhealthy,
Yeah. Look, if you
habits.
grow up in Harlem, like I grew up on Flatbush Avenue, but my boy Bernard grew up in Harlem, and you tell him, oh, they have to eat healthier. It's like, all right, fine, I'll have this then, and that's right.
Yeah.
It's like
And it's
I'll,
probably not
I'll have the
healthy.
50-cent soda then, and then the 50-cent
Right.
soda's got
Right.
like
Oh, I'll
40,
get the
40,
Diet
42
Coke.
grams of, yeah, get your kick, right?
Yeah, that's the one where I'm like, I'll get the Diet Coke, and I'm just like, oh.
Yeah. Choose wisely. So, yeah, but the reason why, and I agree with you, is because they grew up believing that this certain thing, they grew up in an environment where they believe that certain thing is healthier, and it's not. And it just makes you neurologically addicted to have more of it. And then eventually genetics takes a back seat to what you've been doing to your body for decades after decade after decade. So, yeah, I totally agree with that.
And don't get me wrong, I have my unhealthy moments.
We all do.
I'll play a tournament and go
Mhm.
destroy an entire large pizza by myself. But like my general everyday,
Yeah.
I mean, all I've had this week is the same thing. This week is grass-fed burger meat,
Yep.
um,
Your body
white
calls it a
white
one-off,
white rice,
but your body
and
your body calls it a one-off. Your
yeah.
body's like, I'm gonna eat this pizza, but this is nonsense. You know this, right? And you're like, yeah, I know this. Okay, you
Well,
know.
I feel like my body, like I kind of grew up not eating super healthy, so there's also like some deficiencies you can get from
Mm.
not continuing to eat some of the same stuff that you used to, where your body's like, whoa, what is this? So I don't mind eating pizza every once in a while, or
I gave
I don't
up.
know,
I gave up
up
on
with
pizza.
crappy
I don't.
carbs.
I live in
Yeah,
California.
and I love pizza.
Me,
In
I,
life,
I
it's about enjoying it. I'm not saying don't enjoy the cool things in life. You know what I'm saying? But for on a regular basis, you got to give your body some sort of base.
yeah.
Healthy.
And know it's in it, right?
Uh,
Why do Italians eat bread every day and no one gets fat, right?
well, they also don't
It's
have the
different
same
water.
bread. Their bread is like we put sugar in our bread, which is not
Which
great.
is
Bread
insane.
is already sugar. It's already sugar. You don't
But
need to put.
that's what I meant by your environment. I gotta eat healthy. Well, I'll eat bread then. It's just
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
you ever see that movie, My Big Fat Greek Wedding? And it's like
I
he
have, but
doesn't
I
eat
don't
meat, and she's
remember.
screaming, "What do you mean he don't eat no meat?" And everyone got quiet. He's like, "Fine, we'll make lamb then." And everyone goes, "Yay!" Just like,
That's awesome.
hey Jeff, let's talk a little bit about coaching.
Okay,
Um,
cool.
we started coaching together for this very special group about Endless Summer. And for the people that have watched previous episodes, I'll spare you all the accolades because it sounds so freaking self-serving. But I will just speak for Jeff and I when we say it was a special group of girls for a 3-year period, right? That
Still
some are
watching, right?
graduating now and some are in college right now. Like
Yeah.
Finley's got at Berkeley right now, and she's probably gonna do some good things next year. So Jeff, at some point you're a player that becomes a coach, and you know your X's and O's, but now you realize you have to coach personalities, right? And then at some point you start coaching mental preparation for some of these kids instead of just bumping and setting and this and that. At what point did you realize, and this is a question just for you, I meant to ask Dane, but I saved this question for you. At what point did you realize coaching a player and coaching as a player and being a coach are two different occupations?
Coaching as a player and being a coach are two different occupations. Um, I guess I never really had to differentiate those two things. I feel like, you know,
You were good right away, so
as
I just want to
some
ask that
guys
question.
who are like really good with the X's and O's, I mean, phenomenal, like a John Mayer who's just, really good at it, or even a former partner of mine, Derek Olson, is just like a really good, they're
He's
really good
so
coaches. And I'm
good.
not I'm not saying they're not good at, coaching personalities as well, but I just think may have thrived in the coaching personalities aspect before I thrived in the X's and O's aspect. Um, I
Yeah.
just
Is that why you hit the ground running
I don't
so
know, maybe.
well?
I guess I just always I've just been able to see from others' perspective. Um, and I didn't always play volleyball, so coming into it a little bit late, I kind of had to pick up on other parts of this sport other than just like, grasping every single detail at the beginning.
Hmm.
So I think that um, just being able to get people at least comfortable in their own skin as far as coming out and being a volleyball player and feeling comfortable on the court. I think I just kind of
Yeah.
thrived in that area at the beginning, and just not only that, but like motivating the kids too. Because I mean,
It's
I'll call it
just,
like it is. The South Bay
it's,
kids are a little spoiled,
yeah.
and coaching there every day was kind of like pulling teeth, even though they were in the most beautiful place on earth. Sometimes, they're high school kids, middle school kids, they had problems. Their boyfriend dumped them, or, this girl was talking behind my back, or this or that. So they always kind of came with a little bit of some of that. And, you got to kind of get them, hey, but guess what? You're in Hermosa Beach, maybe the most beautiful beach in the United States right now, and you get to play volleyball right here by the pier when the sun's about to go down. When there's someone who wishes they could just be here to experience this, just to watch.
Right.
They or they don't even know that they don't know how cool a place like this is, right?
Yeah.
So, it's
I mean,
kind of
think about this. How cool is this beach? This beach is so cool. When I bring my volleyballs there for practice, I'm gonna be training my wife this afternoon. I'm doing it every Wednesday now that I got my Wednesdays back. And you bring the volleyballs to the court, right? And then when you leave, you bring the volleyballs home and they're clean. You bring your volleyballs to Long Beach. See how your balls come back.
yeah,
Bring your volleyballs to Huntington. I mean, you come back a ball of dust, right?
yeah,
And I love Huntington. Huntington's another one of those beautiful beaches too. But when you mention Hermosa,
yeah.
yeah, the ball. I come back and the balls still look like they're new. But here's getting back to coaching. This is what I liked about you when you had this way of coaching girls where you psychologically or sometimes physically brought yourself at eye level, where you're talking to the girl straight up. And where some coaches speak from up here, right? And some girls need that because they need the authority to respond to, and some girls just need someone to bring it down and talk to them like a person at this eye level. Your eye level, psychological and physical communication is good. Your ability to take beats, right? To take the way I'm taking beats right now, so they can compartmentalize and play the game. The way I
Yeah.
just said it, you are the master at that. And I thought that was something that you brought to the ground running. Because consider this, when you were coaching with us, I had 19 years experience, right? Jaron was a real coach. Pompeo joined us later. So, and you were this guy that was like, just figured it out, man. It was great. It was fun. I thought it was a lot of fun. Just you and I just going down to literally walking down to the pier, and
Yeah.
our office is right there, and it was a great time. So that was one of my questions, and I thought you answered that really, really well, because I asked it as difficult as I could. I'm an idiot. um, how is coach? How's the coaching thing going? Talk to me a little bit about what you've been doing all over the United States, Florida, Michigan. Have you been doing some camps, some clinics, or whatever?
Yeah, man, it's been a grind. I'm like just even thinking about it right now is making me tired. No, I'm just kidding. It's been awesome actually. We've been doing clinics all over the place. I own an LLC where we'll do, clinics for profit. And then I also own a nonprofit that I just started called Impact, where we actually are dedicated to getting underrepresented youth into playing more volleyball, and basically getting in these communities where we can kind of introduce them to the sport a little bit more, and even some communities that have the sport, but maybe they don't have maybe the local club doesn't have the necessary means to, really further the kids' experience, or make sure they're actually having fun, or they don't have equipment or whatever it is. So we do a variety of different things. It's called Impact. It's impactvolleyball.org. Impact Volleyball on Instagram. And our last clinic, we just partnered with Sand Ohana, which is a Utah-based. They're an organization. They also have some apparel as well. But me and my good buddy Joe and his wife Sunshine, we partnered together to do a clinic in Hawaii. And that was in Kauai, actually, right before the Dino, which, if you know anything about the Dino, it's an adult tournament, and it's basically families, right? And so these kids go and watch their parents play for 3 days straight, and they don't really get to play on the courts as much. So we did a clinic right before that, the day before it all started, and we actually, we had like 30 kids sign up the week of, and then when we got there, it was like 60 kids. So we're like, wow, we really maxed out, 60 kids. We ended up having 125 kids show up to this clinic, which was absolutely overwhelming, but absolutely amazing to see the support. And we actually, every kid got a free item, a volleyball or a t-shirt, and also they got like free pizza. And we had a bunch of volunteers. I would say a good like 70% were local kids, that was our goal. And then the remaining were either kids who just came with their parents, or someone who happened to be visiting, staying at the hotel. It was open to all the kids ages 6 to 17, I think we had. So that was amazing. And plus the parents really enjoyed the fact that we got to babysit their kids for a few hours
There
before
you go. Yeah.
everything started. So it was pretty awesome. We were blown away by the amount of kids we got.
Well, I think anyone should trust you with their kids. Look, I'm a kid from Brooklyn, and I have a 7-year-old, and I'm what you would call an overprotective person with when it
Yeah.
comes to everyone in my family, right? My wife, my kids. So, I'm like, who do I trust with my kid? I'm like, oddly enough, like I was talking about LEVBC, I trust Jo. Like he and
Yeah.
we're strong personalities, and that's a whole story we can have a whole nother podcast about. I trust my kid with him. I trust my kid with you. I trust my kid with Oz. Remember Oz Borges?
Oh yeah, yeah,
You
yeah.
know, sometimes that kid needs a little strict in their life that likes to do things a certain way, and you know, yeah, those are the people I trust my kids with, because they're like I'm like, if I'm departed this earth and they needed a man figure to look up to, or not, you know what I'm saying? Who do I
Yeah.
trust? That's it, right? If I had to leave this earth. So I just wanted to let you know that I feel that way, and don't start crying. All right, I'll reach through this camera. What is I asked I hear a lot of coaches say be coachable, and you hear it more in the indoor scene than the outdoor scene. Some of the practices and games, you hear a coach tell a player be coachable, and that means something different to everybody else, right? And I can certainly answer that myself, but this isn't about me. This is about Jeff Samuels. What is being? What do you think? I mean, well, first of all, is that a term you use? And if the answer is yes, what does it mean? What does it mean to you when you say it to someone else? And if not, what do you think? What can it mean to some other people? First, let's start with a hard question first. Is that something you would ever use? I don't really. It's not something I use. I just don't because being coachable, I always feel like I'm failing as a coach. I was put it on me first, you know. I'm not one of those people that jump in front of the parade and then when they're not playing good, that's somebody else's fault. So, but I'm also jumping to conclusions. So, the floor is yours.
Well, there are certainly people and kids that are not very coachable, whether it's one example is like
Remember Ella?
Ella. Yeah.
Remember Ella? She
Oh yeah.
and she was at Huntington Beach playing with Fallon.
Yeah, playing with Fallon. Yeah, you're right.
Talk about someone that was no coach wanted to touch, like this
Yeah.
problem child, right? And she's
Yeah.
out
Crazy.
there, putting up, 22 points against Simo and Van Winkle, you
Yeah,
know?
it's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
But like there's a couple different types of like or a few different types of like not being coachable, right?
Hmm.
Like there's some kids that are so knowledgeable at a young age and so talented at a young age that they already think they know everything, or they want
There's that.
to, or they want to prove to you that they know what you're talking about, so they don't actually listen to the words that come out of your mouth because they already know, they already have an idea of where you're going with the conversation or with the drill or whatever it is, and they want to prove so bad that they know that they don't really give the correct attention to the details of what you're talking about. That's a way of not being coachable. But the most common non-coachable issue, I think, in players, and it goes at all ages, especially since I do there's like here in St. Pete, there's a big rec market where you're coaching adults who just want to get a little bit better in the rec league. Um, the biggest thing is they're just kind of afraid of how they'll look. Like to the coach or to somebody else. They're afraid of how, you know, going outside of what they normally do, I may mess up. Well, it's like you're here already being coached. Like you mess up anyways. You mess like you're at a level right now where messing up should not be an issue. You know what I'm saying? You honestly should be maybe trying to mess up a little bit
Yeah,
more.
you're like, what's the downside?
Yeah, yeah, you should be trying to mess up a little bit more. People, they don't want to like you will say, "Hey, well you need to start with your arms like this and your leg like that." And they're like, "Wait, but what? I got to do what?" And it's like, "No, no, no, really. You should really try and do that." And they're talking to someone who plays volleyball professionally, or even if it was, let's just say Coach Karai was coaching them, right? It's
Right.
like you're listening to a guy who's won a gold medal, but you're not willing to try the things he's asking you to do because you're afraid of how you'll look. And they don't really even know it's that they're afraid of how they're going to look to somebody else, or they're afraid to mess up. But that's the number one thing I tell people. I just say, forget about anybody watching, forget about how you look, forget about any of that stuff, and really just listen to what the coaches are trying to get you to do. Because the reason why you're not getting any better is because you're unable to grasp how to put your body in this situation, or you're unable to grasp how to get your mind to be shapeable enough to do this drill or do this certain skill. And I think that flows into like higher levels too, right? We're so good at the way we've been doing volleyball for so long. It's so hard for us to get out of, well, if I peel and I stop at the 10-foot line and I peel with my hands up instead of trying to get all the way into the back of the court, even though I've dug a lot of balls peeling into the back of the court, what if I would dig 15-20% more if I just did what this coach just told me to do? But I just have been doing it my way so long that it's hard for me to let go of who I am to, become who I could be, right? So that's
Right.
like probably the strongest non-coachable I don't know thing
It's so intriguing
that
too
I
that
see most common. Yeah.
it's so intriguing that you said never mind juniors, it applies to adults too, right? Like
Yeah.
at some point
Myself
at
included.
some point I at some point in your career I consider you one of the biggest control freaks, and something happened between 2022 and now where you were kind of just like, okay, I could take this in bits, right? So you started taking it in bits, and the next thing you know, you're like this better version of yourself every year, which I'm going to get into in a minute. But to me, being coachable from the psychological thing is, and everything you just said, under the common denominator of convincing this person to give up control, right? For example, you talked about a girl who got so good so fast, right? They got it all figured out, right? They're not going to give up that control because they're doing what they think that works, right? So I'll give you an indoor example. I told Dane Blanton, right? Game's 24 up, outside hitter, right? She's comfortable hitting position 6, right? So the tension's high, right? It's a bad pass. They brought the setback in system. She really can't see where she's hitting, right? So she's gonna go with the swing that she identifies in her mind, her psyche thinks that works, right? And anyone that's played indoor, you hit a ball against a 2-person block position 6, it's gonna go into the net, not go over. It's going to get control blocked or stuffed. If it gets past the middle, it's going to get dug by center back position 6, or it's going to go long, right? And for those club coaches and those players listening, all 4 of those things have happened to you in the real game. So now we're listening to me, right? So it is, to me, being coachable is taking that girl and through practice and preparation, giving her a new default shot. Maybe give her drop position 4, like, what I'm saying, like left side to left side. Left side, cross court, or deep hard top spin, right? You get blocked, you could cover because it's not going to be blocked straight down. So like some of these comfort zone shots, they have to give up control to do things in tight game situations where, one, it feels normal, it doesn't feel tight, right? Because through constant repetition, the psychological gets better, right? Because you do it like you take 1,500 swings, right, for a tournament in a month. It's at some point that's just gonna pop. So I really, really appreciated the physical.
Well,
Something you wanted to
like,
add to that?
yeah, I think like breaking it down too, it's like a lot of people want to give up control or they wouldn't be getting coached, right? Like they want somebody to help them conquer that sort of thing, but a
Hmm.
lot of people don't know why they won't give up control.
Right.
And that's like a common thing that like I figured out through coaching is like a lot of people want that help, they want that knowledge, but they just don't know. They don't even acknowledge that they don't know. Like they don't even know that they don't know that they won't give up control, right?
Right.
And the reason I found the most common reason why is not because they're stubborn. It's just because they're just so afraid of what the outcome is going to be if they do something different than what's gotten them the most
Boom.
minute amount of success. So it's not like they don't want to. It's like
Preach.
I want to learn. I want to learn how to hit. I don't know, indoor term or whatever, deep whatever the heck
Yeah.
they talk about indoor. I want to learn how to do that. I see my favorite player does that, but they know that they've gotten 15% of the kills or 20% of their kills by hitting that sharp angle, but sometimes they hit it into the net or out of bounds every
Yeah.
once in a while, and they really need that hit that Jason's talking about, but they just don't know why they won't
Yeah.
do it, and they can't really understand that they're just afraid of what would happen if I do this and I mess up,
Yeah.
or I do this and I look bad.
How about
You know what I mean?
this? How about a high level example? How about Kristen Nuss and Taryn Kloth against the Brazilians, right? How about Duda and Anna Patricia, right? The reason why Anna Patricia and Duda were getting a lot of digs on Kristen Nuss is because Kristen would read the peel, all right? And instead of going, sometimes in juniors when you're in the fiddle, go middle, right? Uh, um,
Yeah.
Kristen would challenge the short and deep on Anna Patricia. And Anna Patricia is one of the best peel diggers in the game. hands apart when it's hard driven, and as it gets softer, her hands impulsively come together. And I don't know if you watch a lot of their games, but Anna Patricia gets probably 5 peel digs a set. Like I'm talking Kerry Waltz stuff. Because Kerry Waltz, up until I saw Anna Patricia, was one of the best peel diggers. Cross court line, just boom, pops up, boom, pops up. So the reason why I thought Kristen won is she went back to her juniors training. She's like, wait a second, let me just go 70% power middle, right? And see who picks it up. Is Anna Patricia, she peeling this way, she'd have to make a second move, right? Because she's still moving her feet at the same time. She's not peeling implanted before the swing. She's still moving her feet. So she'd have to make a second move to get middle. And if Duda covers that, it's cut open. And guys, watch the last match, because they lost to this team 9 straight times. They finally beat them. They finally got over that hump, And watch the last match and watch Kristen Nuss's adjustment. She went middle, middle, middle. And then when Duda started covering middle, the cut. Dude, the cut. These are cuts that, like, even like, I'm old. It's in the air so long, and it's so slow motion, but Duda's already going the other way, and Kristen's just like having the time of her life. So this team that has been a stylistic nightmare for them, even at that level, Kristen got out of this comfort zone of, okay, you're going to peel line, I'm going to beat you on that. You're going to peel cross, I'm going to jumbo you, whatever. And again, Duda, I think I could speak for every Brazilian blocker, every female Brazilian blocker on all 4 teams. Only 2 are going to the Olympics. They're so good at it, Jeff. You have a thought?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I mean, I totally agree with you. And just like being able to adapt to these like different things. So many people get in a habit of like playing a certain way that they can't adapt mid-game. And I would say that's one of the best qualities you can have as a beach volleyball player, because all the teams you're going to play are different. So like somebody can do something really well, but the last team couldn't do that. So being able to adapt like that, like you're saying, like Nuss and Kloth did, I didn't watch the match, but that's what you got to be able to do. I mean, ultimately we talked about my match in the quality that we lost. We weren't able to adapt as a team quickly enough in a proper fashion, right? So, the other team did, and their practice together allowed them to be able to ultimately do that together as a team. So,
I also felt like the longer that match went, the better, the more advantage they had, because they played together. And I told myself, man, if this goes the 3rd set, if you let Lev Prima and like those guys check the lines, create these little de facto timeouts and drag it into this slow lethargic pace, you're going to be looking the wrong way when you're like, oh, interesting, 17 up. How'd that happen? I thought we were whooping this team's behind, Yeah, so I'm so glad I brought that up, because I want everybody to watch that match, and your match. I felt like I was a jinx. I stayed as far away from you as I could. I'm like, dude,
I don't know why
this man's lost half the time with me.
Dude, last year you filmed my entire match.
I know.
And we played against a tougher team. Come on, bro.
It was crazy. Get my stuff together, right?
Yeah, come on, dog.
So, have you been doing coach a little bit juniors in Florida as well, or?
We're just now opening a new facility here, actually, in St. Pete. So I can't give all the details on that just yet, but we're doing a new facility here, and it's looking really good. It's going to be beautiful, actually, right on the water. So
I also want to say that, lastly, for everyone who doesn't know about Jeff the coach as opposed to Jeff the player, the kids wanted to come to practice. When you're doing something and practice is over, that's like, all right, we got to go. And the kids are like, oh, no, I want to, can we stay or whatever? And the next practice, the kid's leaving school and is like, oh my God, I can't wait to go to practice. Because, right, the kids, it could go another way. There's some kids are like, oh man, I got to go to practice. Blah, blah. If you are coaching in a way where the kids want to come to practice, you won. You
You win.
won. And
Yeah,
no
and then
matter,
I win too, right? Like they win, and then I win as well. Like at least, like
they
if
wanted
I'm
to come to
making sure
practice. When
they're
you
at,
were with Endless Summer, they wanted to come to practice. Sorry.
yeah, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
no, it was great. It was awesome. I hope to create an environment like that here.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, I don't. I think there's training here for the youth girls, and there's very good training.
Yeah.
I don't think there's anything like what we had though. Just from looking at it and seeing what's going on, and there's great coaches. Don't get me wrong. There's great coaches, and there's they're doing a great job here. It's just I just can see something from what we had.
Mm-hmm.
If we can get something like that around here, um, shout out to Endless Summer and Duran Forbes,
Yeah, the queen bee. Yep.
yeah, the Queen. If we can do something like that around here, I mean, I'd be extremely happy. So
Yeah.
that's the goal, and the next goal in the near future is
Had
to.
yep. Had dinner with Rob McLean last night.
Oh yeah, awesome.
Yeah,
Tell
we're
him I said
we're
hello.
we're, we're at dinner at Zane's. He's doing all right. His mind's good because he went through the same thing you through in 2019. The mind was messed up, for stuff off the court, and sooner or later the body was whatever. And next thing you know, you're like cranky and you're mad at all your partners, and and you want to do something a certain way because you're thinking that's going to improve your game, and you can actually finish that for me because you guys went through a lot of those progressions that were very very similar. You know, are
I mean,
you?
ultimately, I just started focusing on just the volleyball. I mean, I work, I had to work and do a bunch of stuff and coach and all that stuff, and that stuff's, that's that is what it is. But um, just
Mhm.
focusing on the volleyball aspect of it and not really giving too much attention to the things I can't control. Like I said, it'll
Yeah.
really help you out, when you're focusing on the stuff that you can actually alter it'll works wonders, Can't control what the coach is going to do, you can't control what your partners, your teammates, weather,
Mhm.
referee,
It's
I
true.
can't even control if my girlfriend at the time or whatever. I can't control any of that stuff, and all that stuff's bound to happen. There's going to be different things thrown at you, but
Yeah.
I don't
Well,
know. I started
Ch-
meditating, doing
Ch-
breath work, eating healthier,
yeah.
and
I think it's just about taking care of the details and having the mental capacity to handle it, right? Like John Mayer, like a lot of people, the reason why he was always in the game of musical chairs every year, the reason why he was left without a chair when the music stopped is because he's too detailed. There's some people that don't want to do all that work and they don't think they can make it through a whole season, and I've actually spent some time with him at LMU, and it involves a lot of homework. It involves a lot of detail, and you have to be able to, like you said, put this in, I'm doing this for an hour. So I don't leave with this, right? Because
yeah,
you personalizing your work could be a strength and a weakness. You have to be able to leave some
yeah. You know
things
what?
there.
I even say that to like, there's some guys who like they over prepare for what everyone else is doing. Well, like an example is like, okay, in a qualifier, there's multiple teams that you could end up playing how the brackets work out. Even in any bracket, there's multiple teams in different ways that it could go. And if you go and do all this homework on all these multiple, variations of teams we could play, and this guy does this and this and that. Yeah, it's nice to know those things. But ultimately, if you're not just focusing on your game, if you can't side out, I play with some guys, even like, recently in just tournaments for fun, this and that. And I play with a guy who's, you know, not really done as much, right? He's a great player, don't get me wrong. They're great players. All these guys are good players these days from qualifier on up. They're all great
I mean
players.
that, yeah, you have to have the points to get in. So yeah.
Yeah, right. But then some of the guys have just never made it in there and never got any main draw wins or anything like that. And they wonder why. And they're like, well, I think we should do this, that, and this and that and that. It's like, bro, just you're getting served every ball. Just side out.
Tell me what
If you
kind of
side
set you
out,
want, right? Tell me what kind
yeah,
of set you want.
yeah. If you side out, then we can start doing all this other stuff. But if you can't side out, then
No.
what's the sense in talking about what kind of defense we're going to run?
Right.
Because it's that's not going to matter if you can't side out.
You know.
If I can't side out,
You know
what's
what?
the sense in thinking we're
Agreed.
going? If I can't pass, how am I going to talk about running the number system across the net and we're doing all these shoots and pushes and backs and this and that? If I can't pass, then none of
Yeah.
that really matters. So
Because
if I
you lose
just,
you don't have your court vision. Yep.
yeah, a lot of people are losing emphasis on your side of the net. Take it. That was always the main thing when I play with any old school guy. They're like, yeah, we'll take care of our side of the net and we'll make the adjustments as we go on what we want to do on defense.
Well, to me,
And
that's basic,
yeah,
right? I
but
mean,
you got to do that. You got to have schemes and things that you're running on defense, and that's
right.
awesome. Don't get me wrong. And there are guys who are masters at that. Adam Roberts is not the most physically imposing human. Let's call it like it is. He's
Yeah.
not physically
But there he
imposing,
is.
but he'll get digs. He'll do anything that any of the other guys are doing because he knows what he's doing, and
Wait a
that's
second. You
awesome
guys were in the
too.
draw last year.
Yeah, I mean, he's Adam Roberts. He's gonna
Yeah.
do good stuff. He's gonna do good stuff. But there's some guys who are just so like, hey, we're gonna do what we do, and we're gonna focus on what we do, and what we do is so good that we're gonna do pretty well. And that isn't to say that you're not gonna play different defenses on different teams and different
Yeah.
players. You are,
Well,
but
that's
I think
Well, as a coach, that's a two-step process, right? Taking care of your side of the net. Make sure that you function like every other volleyball player, where you can beat the teams you're better than and lose to the teams that are better than you. That's taking care of your side of the net, and like you said, you're playing your best. You beat them playing their best if you're the better team. Step two, once you can take care of your side of the net, now you stop. Stop telling yourself that these guys have these secrets that they don't want to share with anyone. I have a clue for all of you volleyball players, mid-level players, and even the high-level players that say, I'm not going to give away my secrets. You ready? Ready for me to step on some toes? There are no secrets if you watch video.
yeah,
There
it's
are
on the
no
internet.
secrets. There are
All
no
on the internet.
secrets if you watch video. I live in
Yeah.
a video room like a hermit. So when I asked Taylor Crabb, what's tomorrow going to look like? He's like, tune in, find out. I'm not going to tell anybody. Or when, Kelly Kalinski's like, oh, Bill's serving there for a reason. That's strategic. I'm just like, I don't want to sound like a cocky dude when I say, I know, I know that. There are
Yeah, and
guys.
also,
Go ahead.
it's not
Please, Jeff,
only
you have a thought.
in game film. It's not only in game film on the internet, but like it's pretty in depth all over the internet on what people are doing and why they're doing it. And there's people breaking it down, and you can watch a sandcast and
But
figure
why,
out some
why is this the only sport where people still think
and
they're secrets? Why is this the
and
only sport?
Gibbons and better at beach. Like, are we kidding? And then also on top of that, you can ask other players what's going on. It's not like they're not gonna. There's not like they're not gonna share it with you. My buddy Marcus Carvalhaes wanted, to get a little better at his blocking. He came from indoor. He's a great player, but a couple pieces were missing. And I'm like, yeah, dude, let's go out and I'll show you what I know. I mean, it's only one version of blocking. You might learn something else from Andy Benesh, but from what I know, this is how you do this and do that. And like, I'm not, I have no fear in showing someone else. He did beat me in the next tournament. See, maybe I should keep some secrets, but no, but seriously, like
In every
I
sport.
think it's pretty accessible to get any information that you want. And that's originally how I learned how to play volleyball.
Yeah.
Living in Michigan, there were some guys that would share some secrets about what they knew, but ultimately it's all on YouTube. You can go watch it. You can go watch game film and see that this guy does this footwork, this guy does that footwork, this guy's goofy foot, nah, that didn't work for me, whatever. Like
Right.
it's all on there.
I mean, if you're talking in terms of sharing secrets so that you can be a better player, I totally get that. But I'm talking about terms of sharing secrets where you learn how to beat that person. So that comes into how do you beat that person, right? That
Well,
person,
that's what I'm saying.
yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. If I figure out how I can be a better player, then I beat that person. That's always my like
Vol,
I think less about what to do to beat that person as opposed to how can I be sound in all areas. Don't get me wrong, there's both aspects. You
right.
have to think of both. But a lot of guys are trying to think like it's funny. These guys are all thinking, well, I got to do this against him and do that against him and this and that. And it's like, well,
What
you could
happens?
just side out.
What happens when they adjust? Yeah.
You could
Right?
just side out. You could side out first and then see what
Yeah.
happens.
I mean, what happens when they adjust? Volleyball is the only sport, like in some cases indoor, where You don't trade tape. Like you see a college football game, they exchange game tape. They want to know what each other's doing because when the game happens, it's now tactically interesting to watch. How many times you see on Huntington Beach or Hermosa Beach, someone's walking on the pier, right, or the Strand, and they stop to watch a match, right, and they see some teams going through the motions, like no, I'm good, I'm not going to watch this, or they'll see a match that's actually interesting where people are getting after it because it's tactical, and everyone stays. Like I don't mean to keep harping on the memory of you against the Park Chains. That was an interesting match because there were a lot of things that you had to adjust on the fly. Technical timeout. All right, they're doing this, they're doing that, right? And the next thing you know, the crowd got bigger. You had people watching, you had people setting up chairs on top of the bathroom. Like, so if you're, for the people watching the video, it looked like bleachers. Because you had people sitting here, you had people standing behind them, and then above that, people sitting in beach chairs on top of the bathroom, then people standing behind them, and then people watching from the hotel balcony. So it's volleyball. The reason why I'm saying there's no secrets, there's just a bunch of people that don't do their homework. You know, all of you guys are physical specimens. All of you guys are elite athletes. I just want to see people exercise the muscles between their ears. It's volleyball. Football, basketball. Everybody exchanges game tape. The CUNY division in New York, the City University, they don't allow other coaches to tape games, and there's no other way for you to get games because it's Division 3, right? So they're not on ESPN. So you can't get game tape on people, and they're unwilling to exchange game film with each other. And I'm like, how do you expect this weak conference? Yeah, CUNY, I said it. I'm talking to you right now. How do you expect the conference to get better, right? When there's like, I'm not doing this team any favors. I ain't getting no tape on me. They'll find out when the game starts. Yeah. And it's a selfish thing, and it's good for them. And if you just want to be the best of the worst, and now this translates to volleyball, if you want to continue to be the best of the worst, have at it. Right? You don't want to give someone all your secrets or the people that are saying they have secrets. You don't want to spend time in the video room and learn their intricacies and make these adjustments and make them, you know what I'm saying, and make them play. All you're going to have is a country that sports the best of the worst, who's going to herb everybody in these local tournaments. And then when they go out and they play some teams that are actually the coaches are living in the video room like savages. Germany, the German coach, that whole coaching staff, savages in the video room. You know what I'm saying? The Norwegians, the Swedes, dude, they don't even have a tan. So it's not like, they're spending more time on the beach than everybody. They don't even have a tan, man. There are no secrets because they have enough game film. And that's what we need to do as a sport. Make our sport interesting. Make our sport worth watching. Make someone who's never seen the sport saying there's something tactical that's going beyond a bunch of guys guys who can jump. So and that's really what I wanted to finish. And I didn't mean to go off on some tirade, but
good, buddy.
You and I had some great tacticals, dude. Remember Case-Beer and Allen? Remember that match with Case-Beer and Allen? Remember I had my 13-year-olds who were like, they're like, Coach, this guy, every fourth shot, he goes hard line or line over. And I'm like, what? They're like, dude, we did the math. He goes cross, cross, cross line. And I said, this isn't math, sweetheart. This is volleyball. Okay? Don't talk to me about this stuff. And then Ferrari called you or sent you a text and said that he hits cross court 75% of the time. So then I did the math of the kids. Cross, cross, cross line. Cross, cross, cross line. And the first set, isn't that what happened? It was 24-22. And John Mayer made some great adjustments at the technical timeout. We were up 12-9 or whatever, but that was an example of just seeing what someone likes to do. And when you watch that video, people watching was like, how did they know he was going to do that? Now they had Mayer, and again, Mayer's just like, all right, we're going to change up. And then from there, I'm like, Jeff, I'm going to need your help. That's my mentor. That guy's my mentor. All right, a fun question. What rule in volleyball should be worth 2 points?
Skyballs.
Skyball Ace or just Skyballs?
Yeah. Well, that's a sponsor I forgot to mention. We're back. Me and Skyball, we're back.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
So Skyball Ace should be 2 points.
Skyball Aces should be 2 points.
There it is.
100%. Yeah. If they're over 20 feet, 30, if they're over 30 feet, you should definitely get 2 points for that.
Yeah, I agree. Well, Dane said clean ace. Dane on, he said any ace that's not touched by a defender. He says, and I love his voice because you guys sound the same. And when I imitate you, I sound like I'm. He's like, look, he says it's going to make people go to the line a little bit more, and they're going to show some discipline. They're going to follow the ball to the line and escort the ball out. And I'm like, and my wife is like, are you imitating Jeff right now or Dane? And I was like, sometimes they sound the same.
Yeah.
Dude, if it were just radio, they would think you guys are surfers. They think you guys are like blonde-haired surfers. um, what rule did you are you glad they got rid of? I mean, how long have you been playing, right? I mean, I guess like short court and all that stuff. Did you come after that? You might not be that old.
No, I've always played short court. Yeah, no big court.
Okay.
Actual competition. Yeah. What rule am I glad they got rid of? Well, games are already long enough for me, so I'm glad that
Rally.
there's rally scoring instead of side out.
Yeah, I agree. You can play 45 minutes and the score is 10-10.
Yeah, no thanks.
Did you play Pottstown last year?
I did.
You did. All right, cool. Did you have fun?
I had a great time. It was Dana was getting inducted into the Hall of Fame, so I went and played with him.
You played with Camacho.
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome, Jeff. Oh my God. What's the venue you want the AVP to bring back? It's an obvious question. I just listened to the podcast with you and Doc Vandermeer, so
yeah, Grand Haven.
It's much better than Muskegon. Yeah.
Grand Haven's one of the best beaches in the United States.
Gotcha.
No doubt about it. And you got to go at the right time. I think we went to Muskegon a couple weeks early, but anywhere over there, Grand Haven, Muskegon, South Haven is it's nice. Nice. It's real nice.
Do you still hold the record for a highest scoring rally game? It was 42.
I heard
was it 42-40 or something like that?
It wasn't, like, I don't know. Who knows?
I
think it was like the longest set. Not the highest.
No, that's what I meant. Like the longest set.
But the highest scoring set, and it was the third set too. I think it was. 29.
It was 41-39. There was one of you and Rafi.
Yeah, sounds like something Rafi and I would do.
Yeah. All right, so I know you got to go, but I wanted to finish with lightning rounds, 60 seconds, just for Jeff Samuel. Some of these you've answered before, but some of them are new. And I'm only doing this because I'm doing like a compilation video of like everybody's answers, like, just like everybody's favorite answers between you and whomever. You can say hi, whoever that is. All right, we got 60 seconds. Let's get my horn ready and go. Favorite comedian?
Oh, it's always and forever will be Dave Chappelle.
My man. That's what Dane said too. Last good book you read? Is it a book in the Bible? One of those versions. Is it Revelation?
Oh my God! I guess it's been a while since I read a good book. I don't know. The Relentless book was pretty good. It's probably the last one I read.
Nice. Okay, last good movie you watched, or last movie you watched? Not good movie. Doesn't matter.
Last movie I watched last night. I watched The Accountant on Netflix. Which
Ben Affleck.
Like I put it on to fall asleep. So
nice.
It wasn't. Okay.
Excellent. Do you like coaching or playing?
I love playing. Coaching is a good vibe too, but I love playing volleyball. Yeah.
Cool. Marvel or DC?
I guess Marvel. I don't know. I don't really watch either one of them. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Pool or beach?
Pool or beach? Beach all day.
Ice cream or cupcakes? Got to get your dairy on.
Ice cream, chocolate chip cookie dough.
Okay, Lord of the Rings or Harry Potter?
Never seen Lord of the Rings, and I've only seen one Harry Potter.
There you go. A bourbon, vodka, or tequila?
Bourbon, like a rye.
Nice. Favorite sport outside of volleyball?
Hockey.
Nice, my man. Favorite action film star growing up?
Denzel, 100%.
Yeah, I like Bruce Willis growing up.
Bruce Willis, he was great.
Any favorite conspiracy rabbit holes? I think you and I talked about the Kennedy assassination. Remember you talked about that a while back?
Yeah, yeah, we've talked about that one. Am I on a time thing right now?
No, we already done. The horn's already honked. So
Oh,
you ain't gonna answer that. We could look.
no, no,
You've done a
I
good
want
job being all PC. So
I want to answer this one. There's a lot of them that I've went deep on, but lately I've been really having a hard time with this whole moon thing,
yeah.
moon landing. I've been having a real hard time with this one, you know?
You're not the only one. Look, there are bright people that are like, that's not that, there's something that doesn't seem right, right? Like Jeff, let's get an Insta handle for you.
Yeah, so it's Jeff Samuels
Mhm.
basically because I'm Jeff Samuels the second. So Jeff
Mhm.
Samuels and then Impact Volleyball is on Instagram, YouTube, Facebook. My website's impactvolleyball.org. Stay tuned for some new events we got coming up there soon.
Gonna be fun.
I think that's it for
Gonna be
me.
fun. All right,
Yeah.
guys. So for everybody at home, Jeff might love you, but I don't love you. Okay. In fact, I can't stand you. In fact, I'm out of here. So for all of you at home, for all of you on your iPads, for all of you on your desktop, for all of you on your what do you call that? The Macs. This is Jason DeBeas. This man right here. Let's get a camera just for him. That's Jeffrey Kennedy Samuels. This is episode 207 of the Option
My
Podcast.
real name's Bernard. My middle name is Bernard, and he calls me Jeffrey Kennedy Samuels. For what reason? I've never really asked, but it's all right.
All right, we're going to hit my music. We're out of here.
All right, buddy.
Come check out the Option Podcast on optionvb.com. It's also available on iTunes and Spotify and on YouTube under the NY Varsity Sports handle. You're going to love what you hear.